Today we're talking about introverted intuition and extroverted intuition. In the previous videos, we explored the differences and the similarities between TI and TE, and then consequently between FI and FE. And now we are moving on with our series and discussing what the intuitive function does and how the two facets of the same intuitive function differ from each other. So tune in for that, and if you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's dive in. So, the NI and NE functions are both concerned with the abstract. Both of these functions are primarily interested in making sense of abstract ideas, abstract information, more theoretical rather than concrete practical stuff. So both NI and NE, especially when they are used as a dominant/hero or parent auxiliary function, will highlight an individual's interest in dealing with conceptual or abstract ideas and theories. However, these two approaches are somewhat different, and we can see that people who prefer NI over NE versus people who prefer NE over NI are more likely to have a different kind of approach and understanding of these like abstract ideas, okay? So those who prefer NI, meaning NJ and SP types, are more interested in bringing ideas together. The way I imagine this is NI looks at disparate information. It sees ideas about different concepts and theories. It sees ideas about something else, things that seem to not really be connected to each other. And it kind of cleans that chaos and brings the ideas together to create one single middle line. On the other hand, NE, so extroverted intuition, which is the case of NP and SJ types, is what pulls these ideas from the middle line to the outside. So if we are to think about it, NI is the one that kind of cleans the chaos, whereas NE is the one that makes the chaos. And this is not to say that people who prefer NI are more structured in their thinking, not necessarily. It could be, but what they prefer is to kind of reach one main conclusion or one main idea about something that they're trying to understand. And they love seeing how everything is linked with the aim to create one personal truth or one personal understanding. Maybe truth is not the right word because that's something that is more related to TI's preference. But NI will really like to bring these things together in order to have one clear direction. Whereas NE will be like, sure, I can also see the interconnectedness of things. I can also see how all of these ideas are brought together and connected together, but I also want to separate them a little bit and see where they take me if I keep going along with them. I think I've mentioned this in one of my previous videos where I talked about NE versus SE. NE users, especially high NE users, are really interested in seeing how their ideas grow. They don't always necessarily have an aim or a goal or a point for those ideas. Let's imagine that they have a series of bar charts, all of those bars representing their own ideas and opinions about things. And together with their experiences and the new things that they learn, these bar charts increase. They become more and more complex. And this is something that NE finds to be fascinating and extremely interesting. And this is what brings them, let's say, fulfillment or satisfaction in their intellectual life. NI, on the other hand, is much more goal-oriented in its, let's say, representation of mental concepts. And I likes to think, okay, what's the point of this and where am I heading towards? If I know that I'm heading towards something, then I will kind of try to make sense of the chaos of ideas and pick out the ones that I consider to be relevant that will help me to focus on that one thing. So the ideas and the conceptual elements will migrate together towards a very, let's say, direct, clear line towards that end goal, okay? So this is how the two functions are somewhat polar to each other. They like each other and they tend to stimulate each other because NI can sometimes have this tunnel vision where it focuses on one main thing and tries to mold the ideas together so they fit that one, let's say, road or goal. Whereas NE can say, hey, NI, you're being a little bit too narrow-minded in this situation. You focus too much on that one thing. Maybe you should open your eyes and not ignore the other things that are happening around you, because you might find great value in them, okay? And this NE could be the NE in their own shadow, or it could be the NE that someone else brings into their lives, okay? And then again, NI can also be helpful to NE because NE always wants to explore something else. It's curious about something new. It likes the chaos of ideas. So NI can be like, hey, NE, maybe sometimes you can also focus on one thing because you seem to be so curious to explore all of the ideas that you might fail to take anything to completion and have a clear direction into your project and into your thought process. So the two can really nicely work with each other and complement each other. But sometimes, obviously, as it is the case with TITE or SISE or FIFE, they can also annoy each other and frustrate each other. The NI user might be annoyed that the NE user is not focused enough, whereas the NE user might be annoyed that the NI user is too narrow-minded or tunnel-visioned. So basically this is how I see these two functions operating. It's also important to not forget that they are intrinsically connected to their sensing partners, SI and SE, and they will somehow modulate themselves or express themselves differently depending on which of these sensing functions they prefer. So NE, because it is intrinsically connected to SI, it will try to find stability in their concrete experience. When they have that stability in their concrete experience, their extroverted intuition will have the ability to go further and explore the ideas. Because every person needs a point of stability and a point of exploration. And for NESI users, again, NPs and SJs, the stability is found in the experiential concrete world, whereas the exploration is found in the imagination. For the other people who prefer NI and SE, the stability is found in the imagination, in the conceptual world brought about by NI, and the exploration is more reflected by SE, which enables these people to explore new territories, have new, concrete physical experiences. So what do you think about this, guys? Please feel free to share your thoughts below. And see you next week with another video on comparing cognitive functions, the last pair, in this case, SI versus SE. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for being with me.